Let's talk about the key skills that a executive assistant should have versus just a regular admin assistant. What's the difference, and why do we want an executive assistant versus just a regular admin assistant? The very first thing is going to be leadership. Um, Executive admins are going to be people who are self-starters. They're going to, you're going to give them a task, they're going to pick it up and figure out the problem and come to you and say, okay, I found three solutions, A, B, and C. Which one, would you like to go with? Um, in addition to that, they're also very good at being a leader within a team. So they can talk to all the other team members and get them all flowing in the same direction so that we're all on the exact same page so that nothing gets dropped without them dropping a hammer, right? They're not there to be the big bad boss. They're there to get everybody on the same page, get everybody communicating correctly, and make sure that all of our tasks are getting done on time. Which brings me to the second part, and that is communication. An executive assistant absolutely must have really good both written and speaking communication internally and externally, right? So we expect them to have good grammar, punctuation, and spelling. In addition to that, they need to be able to get their point across in a way that is, nice, gets the job done, and gets everybody working together as a team on the same page. So we're not looking for the guy that's just going to beat everybody, right? And beatings will continue until morale improves, right? It's not that. That's not what we're looking for. So they need to have that delicate balance of keeping track of everything and making sure that things are getting communicated clearly, but also in a way where they're building a team spirit. The third thing that a executive assistant needs to have that's a super core skill is multitasking. They're going to have to hop over 100 different things in a day to make sure that all the deadlines are on time. Where is everybody with each project? What do I have going on? What's coming up in my calendar? Does Tanette have to time block some things out for me so that I can meet my obligations next week for a deadline that's due that I haven't even thought about because she keeps track of everything. She's going to bounce into my email. She's going to bounce into, meetings that we have, take notes, summarize those notes, send them out to the clients, put the, the dates of, what everybody agreed upon for their action items into our project management system, right? And then, make sure they're divvied out. So she is constantly flip-flopping back and forth between 100 different tasks in a day. And then the fourth thing is organization, right? They absolutely have to be organized for the point that I just talked about. They're bouncing around all the time, talking to a whole bunch of people, keeping track of me, keeping track of the rest of the team, keeping track of what they need to do. And it is an absolute must that they are completely organized, that they keep track of the tiny details, unless you're a person who's really, really good at keeping track of the tiny details. But typically this is the executive assistant's job. And they're, one of the best things about them is that they're organized. I can go to Tanette and I can say, hey, do you remember 2 months ago we did this project and we took some notes on it? I need those notes. Can you tell me where they're at? And 15 minutes later, she'll send me a link to the Google Drive, and here you go. Here's where it is. And so then that brings me to the fifth point, which is technology, right? You may have somebody who is, absolutely phenomenal, but they're not real good using a computer, or they don't like to adapt to new technology. And that's a problem. An executive assistant needs to be on top of their game in technology. That doesn't mean they need to be a technology wizard, but it does mean that they need to be able to use the tools and adapt to new technologies as we come out with them. Because as we find things that make us more productive, we need to implement them in our business to streamline it. So those are the 5 major things that you are looking for with an executive assistant. Where do you find a great executive assistant? So glad you asked. take a look down in the notes below and you will find a link to a job board that I particularly use in the Philippines. And we have found absolutely phenomenal talent hiring executive assistants there. And there is a process that you have to go through to vet them. Online Jobs is not a magic bullet. It's a job board like, Career Builders or Monster in the United States. However, if you do go through, the hiring process and the vetting process very thoroughly, you will weed out the ones that aren't, and the cream of the crop will rise to the top, and you'll get yourself an absolutely phenomenal executive assistant that you won't be able to live without. So I hope that was helpful, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or drop a comment below the video. Please hit like and subscribe to this channel. That helps us out a ton, and we'll see you in the next video.